Today's Dallas Cowboys report is presented by the Fetch Rewards app. You can download the app, scan your receipts, and then get points. You can then redeem for gift cards. I'll tell you all about them later on in today's show. But some rumors I want to get into, mostly coaching to start. That is beginning with Kellen Moore to the Miami Dolphins. I'll give this 2 stars here. The Dolphins' job is one of the ones that remains unfilled at this point, and the reports are that Kellen Moore will be one of the candidates getting a second interview for that job. That does, by the way, make him a finalist for the position. Now, the expectation from Dallas is that he will return as the team's offensive coordinator. We'll get into that in a minute. Now, the Giants went out and hired Brian Daboll, the Bills' offensive coordinator, who I know Miami very much wanted to get. Miami also in the mix for that job is Mike McDaniel, the Niners offensive coordinator. He is going to get a second interview, and maybe some rumors out there around Jim Harbaugh to Miami. That seems a bit unlikely, at least for now. There are 5 open jobs at the moment. Miami appears to be the only one that's a real threat for Kellen Moore to actually land. Now, he's had interviews elsewhere. This would be his second interview with Miami. Had an interview with the Minnesota Vikings. They don't appear all that likely to go after Kellen. He is not among, at least for now, their second interview list. Jacksonville interviewed him. Now, that coaching search has been a dumpster fire. They were working on a deal for Byron Leftwich. That fell apart. He didn't want Trent Baalke, apparently. Baalke's now looking elsewhere. I don't know what's going on in Jacksonville. Maybe they reevaluate that at some point in the near future and Moore becomes a candidate, since Kevin O'Connell's now in the running. Even though he wasn't known the first hiring, it's a disaster in Jacksonville. Miami, I think, is the one to watch for Kellen Moore. And Moore's stock dipped this year. The first 6 games-ish, that's the number 1 head coach candidate stuff, right? Back end of the year, you don't want him. He can't adjust. They threw new things at him, and he just ran the same old stuff. The biggest problem for me was that Kellen Moore got away from the good stuff. He got away from the pre-snap motion, got away from the outside runs, got away from the things that were working well. By the way, if Kellen Moore gets back to those things, if he does get a head coaching job, I will be a broken human being, because that would make me convinced that it was a edict from the top of the organization, from the Joneses, not a Kellen Moore decision. But I don't want to believe that. So, when it comes to Kellen Moore, I want you to be honest here. On one hand, he did run the number 1 offense statistically, but didn't feel like the number 1 offense. So do you want him as the offensive coordinator? Type in Y for yes you do, N for no you do not. This is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. More coaching talk. Is Dan Quinn the head coach in waiting? I'm going to give this one just 1 star here. I don't really buy it. There's a lot I want to discuss here with Quinn, beginning with that he turned down a head coaching job. This is kind of one as well, to an extent. Jerry said he thinks he did. And he also said that him not committing publicly to Mike McCarthy was to help retain Dan Quinn, which I have a really tough time tracking the logic of that. But hey, whatever. Now, Quinn had a bunch of interviews, among them the Bears, Broncos, and Giants chiefly. Here's what Jerry Jones had to say when asked if he thought Dan Quinn had a head coaching offer that he turned down to come back to Dallas. Jerry, I believe that very much. I know this. He is staying and being our coordinator for years to come. So I know he was the busiest coordinator out here being interviewed for jobs, and I'd say, and yes, I said that specifically. It's a real compliment to Mike, compliment to us, and a compliment to the organization. Do you think that Dan Quinn was offered a head coaching job? Type 1 for yes, he got at least one of those jobs offered to him, or type 0 for no. Now, I don't think that the Bears or Broncos offered Dan Quinn the job. Maybe the Bears did, and maybe he said, nah, I'm going to stick in Dallas. I don't think Denver got there. I know Quinn's camp thought he was going to get the Denver job. Maybe he dragged his feet interviewing with other teams. Heard that too. I don't think they ever truly offered him. But I do think if Dan Quinn said, I'm going to be a head coach this year, he would have gotten a job somewhere. And, I mean, Houston would have taken him, right? Like, I think the Vikings would still have interest. I think the Saints would have interest. Some of the Jags would love him. He didn't want that job. Miami would have interest. I don't think the right jobs that Quinn wanted were there. So I do think he could have been a head coach this cycle had he really wanted to be. But I don't think in the end that Quinn wanted the jobs that were ended up available to him. Now, we'll come back to more Dan Quinn talk about him being the head coach in waiting. But first, a word from our sponsor. Fetch Rewards is an app that allows you to scan your receipts that you can then redeem for gift cards for your favorite places, Amazon, Starbucks, your favorite restaurants as well. It's super easy to use, by the way. Let me show you guys. All you got to do, pull up the app, pull up whatever receipts you guys got, whether it's for Amazon online, whether it's for your restaurants, your local mom and pop, favorite coffee or grocery store. Hit the button, go ahead and shop. Pull it up. It'll just look at your receipt. It'll need your store, your total, your date. Get the whole thing in there. Grab it. It'll grab all the information you need. Hit submit. And then as it finishes up, boom, it'll upload your receipts and get you guys points for whatever you spent on. 7-Eleven, it works. Papa John's, whether you're eating out, eating in, or shopping, it's got you guys covered for whatever. And then head on down and you can redeem it for gift cards. Amazon, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, CVS. If you got a girl, Ulta Beauty. My wife loves that. I'm not a huge fan of it myself, but it is what it is in the end. It's very simple, guys. We're going to hook you up with 3,000 bonus points as well. Chatsports.com/fetch. Use promo code Cowboys to get yourself the 3,000 bonus points. I'll put the link in the comments and the description. By the way, it's free to use. Chatsports.com/fetch. Promo code Cowboys. All right, back to Dan Quinn and the whole head coach in waiting thing. Pro Football Talk, who we love-hate here, speculated, this is actually Shereen Williams, by the way, not Florio, about could Quinn be the head coach in waiting for Dallas? And the sourcing was, well, maybe. There was no real, it was just a guess, which is fine, it happens, but not a big deal. The Cowboys do like Dan Quinn. Of that, I have zero doubts. To put a specific clause in his contract about Quinn being the next head coach in waiting so they don't have to interview other people, which hasn't been done for a head coach since like 2009, with the Sean Payton stuff out there, come on. I find that very tough to believe. Now, I do think in the event the Cowboys struggle this upcoming year, I think Dan Quinn would be one of your favorites to get the head coaching job. I do think that's the case, or even the McCarthy retirement, Quinn promotion. I do buy that. I don't think he's the guaranteed locked and loaded head coach in waiting, though. Now, we'll have to have that conversation again next year in terms of maybe promoting him, but I don't think that's been promised to Dan Quinn. So what do you think? And Mike McCarthy is a valid answer here, by the way. But who do you want to be the Cowboys' next head coach? And Keith McCarthy's just fine. That's Sean Payton, Dan Quinn. If you still got some Kellen Moore truthers out there, drop a name for me in the comments section. Let's talk now about Amari Cooper. Could he be staying with the Dallas Cowboys? I'm going to give this one 2 stars. I still don't know what the Cowboys will end up doing, and I think anyone who says they know for certain, I don't know if they actually know that. Pro Football Network's put an article out saying, hey, Amari Cooper is going to stay in Dallas. And their sourcing was that league sources don't know what the Cowboys are going to do because they haven't made one yet, but they think the Cowboys will end up keeping Cooper, which isn't really a statement of fact. That is a speculation on what they think they will end up doing. And even some of the sources there said, I don't know if that'll be the case for Amari Cooper and Dallas. So nobody actually knows. It's firmly in that rumor category. Cooper was not as good this year as the Cowboys have seen him be in the past. They needed more out of Amari. And with a $20 million cap hit, it's decision time. Either restructure his deal, bring his cap hit down, keep him on the roster, or move on from him. If you were to keep Cooper, he and CeeDee Lamb, you feel great about that 1-2 punch, and you'd look towards the draft or re-signing somebody on the cheap to help fill out the rest of your roster. If you move on from Cooper, all of a sudden, that's the number one need, or at least one of the top needs on this Dallas Cowboys roster, because that leaves CeeDee Lamb as receiver 1 and Simi Fehoko as receiver 2 under roster. So what would you do with Amari Cooper? Type in T for you trade him, K to keep him, or C for cut him. Head down to the comments, let me know. And then while you're down there, double check, make sure you guys are subscribed for all of the latest Dallas Cowboys videos right here on the Cowboys Report. That means news, rumors, live shows, mailbags, trades, free agency draft, coaching, you name it. This is your one-stop shop here on America's Team. All right, one last rumor. How about signing Marcus Williams in free agency? 1 star on this one. I love the idea. USA Today, my boy Katie Drummond, was the site went through 1 player each team should sign, and Katie acknowledged it's kind of a exercise in I don't know if it was failure or meaninglessness, because the Cowboys don't spend big on free agency. This is a great idea. I would love to get Marcus Williams on the Cowboys. That was really Katie's point. The likelihood of it, though, is it's not going to happen. He is arguably, if not the best, one of the best free agent safeties on the market. High-impact player, fits the single-high free safety, rangy mold that so many, understandably, want to have on their roster. If you could hypothetically here re-sign Jaron Kearse and then add Marcus Williams to the roster and keep Donovan Wilson, Israel Mukuamu, that is an awesome safety room. I love the idea of it. It's unlikely, though. So with that in mind, name a player who you want to sign. Head down to the comments section and drop a name for me. Any position, just a free agent you want to add. You guys know that for years now, I've desperately wanted safety help. I'm not going to get my hopes up for a top safety in the free agency area. Catboy Stephen Jones doesn't want to spend big. He could if he wanted to. They have the money to make it work. Don't let the cap people fool you. No. You can make it work if you want to. Stephen Jones doesn't want to make it work. So because of that, I will not be getting my hopes up for one of those big-name safeties in free agency, but as we'll do on future videos, I will for some lesser names.